My problem was an immigration matter. What had happened is that I sent my passport into the Home Office for my visa to be renewed. And usually the time period is with 2 to 3 weeks, I'll receive it back. But after 2 months, I was a bit concerned.
So before receiving the oil, I was a person that, when doing sports, I never really believed in myself. I never really had the confidence. And for some reason, I always used to pick up these minor injuries.
The whole process took a year without having a visa to work in the country, which, you know, without a visa, I could work at all. So it was a bit of a strain on me financially, not having my visa, you know, at present with me.
I used to just be tired. So when this purpose of faith came up with the oil, someone spoke to me and told me to use the oil, use it according to my faith. So I decided to do that. I decided to use the oil and anoint myself before I'd go out and do sports, so that I may have the confidence, so that, you know, I wouldn't get these silly injuries, so I wouldn't feel as tired as what I was feeling. And
I used my faith and I believe. I anointed my documents, I anointed the Home Office, I fasted, I prayed, I got up early, read my Bible. I just continuously used my faith and believed that I will overcome, that God will direct me where He wants to.
After some time, after really using the oil, after really believing, I managed to start seeing results. You know, I don't get as tired as what I do when I play sports. I don't get these minor injuries. I could almost say I'm not unbreakable.
Today, I have my documents. I got my visa. After using the anointed oil on the documents, when I sent it in, it took about 2 weeks before they responded to me and they accepted.
Now, I'm looking forward to receiving my free bottle of oil and to continue using my faith.
Hello, very good evening. Welcome to Finding Answers. Where does admiration end and envy begin? These are two different things that can sometimes be seen as almost the same, because you can look at someone and admire what they have achieved. You can admire that they've conquered a successful career. You know, you look at someone and you say, my gosh, I wish that I could be as successful as that person. And actually but not really wanting what they have, take it away for you. What you want is, you want to learn from that person's example. You have them as a point of reference, right? Most footballers look at the most successful footballer of that time and they use that person as a point of reference, right? So if your field is, you want to be a chef, you look at a very successful chef and you say, I wish I could be that good, one day have that success. And that's a good thing, right? Where it all goes wrong is when you look at someone and you envy them. You're jealous of them. Perhaps envy and jealousy are more or less similar. Perhaps you think that that person is happier than you and they have something that you should have, right? And where does it end? Where does that all end? Because if you want to have what another person has and you achieve that, where do you go from there? And can envy ever be a good thing? Can jealousy ever be a good thing? Is the success of another person, does that mean that they are happier than you are? Is the grass always greener on the other side? Just before I bring Esther, our co-presenter, into the subject, one last example that I want to give. A perfect example of envy, or the grass being greener on the other side. How many men are married and they are happily married, but they get attention from another woman? It could be a woman who gets attention from another man, and they think that that person is better than their partner. and they say, look, if I can only be with this person, then I'll be happy. And then the truth is, you are with that person, you engage into this relationship that you shouldn't have engaged in, and then you find yourself living a nightmare, because then the nightmare begins after those few minutes of pleasure, because they are minutes, let's be honest. Let's be honest, they are minutes. And after that, your nightmare begins, and you see that the grass wasn't greener. You start living a life that you say, what have I done? So is the grass always greener on the other side? Can envy ever be a good thing? Can you look at another person, desire what they have, want that for yourself, and then that is a good thing? Is it ever a good thing, Esther?
I'm going to have to agree with you. It's a waste of time, envy. We can be as envious as we want, but the truth is we're all unique. And, you know, if I'm not here, who's going to be me? If you're not here, who's going to be you? So we've probably already got what a lot of people are already envious of anyway. So.
And actually, you said something interesting, because everybody's different. So it's like you can always find something in someone that you don't have.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, you have qualities that I don't have, and vice versa. And if we are going to envy those things, then we're going to envy everyone. There's no one safe in this world, right?
Yeah. A great example is today was a beautiful day, really, really sunny. And, you know, it's summertime and everybody's, you know, wearing their dresses and their shorts. And definitely you could tell people were checking each other out and weighing themselves up, you know, mentally. There was a lot of comparisons going on. And again, it just really is a waste of time. You just have to love what you have and work on what you have.
And actually build from what you have, because sometimes you may not have someone else's success, but you can build a life, you know, to be as successful or even more with than that person. And remember, use them as a point of reference, not really wanting what they have. You know, Esther, I've given an example here before in the program about my own family, because before I came into the faith, my parents had apparently a good marriage, and my dad saw this woman who gave him attention. He had a successful business and thought, I'm still the guy, someone wants me, right? And what he thought was a one-night stand turned into a mess. He lost his business, lost his family, it was a mess. The grass wasn't greener.
No, it's never going to be greener, because there's a lot of grass, let's put it that way. There's a lot of different hills to climb. But like I say, always just bring it back to yourself. And another point is, Pastor, is that if you're putting all this energy on someone else, or, you know, worrying and thinking about what they have, you're taking away from yourself. You're leaving a void, you know, in yourself. So it's not very constructive for a good life.
Absolutely, and it's exactly like you said. You put all this focus on looking at someone and what they have, and you forget about your own life. Your life starts drifting and it gets worse. And then there's the other point. There's the point of when you are victim of someone who envies what you have. You know, and let me be honest with you. If someone envies you, if someone envies me, it can be a good thing. It means you have something good going for you, right? Take that as a compliment. What you can never do is you can never let someone else's happiness be the reason for your sadness, because that's a terrible flaw on your character. But maybe let's just look at another point before we go to a break. There are a lot of people who have this envy for others because their own lives is not very good. So when they look at other people's success and what they have, which highlights perhaps what you don't have, you then start saying, why not me? Why does this person have this great relationship and I don't? What do they have that I don't? You know, in our work, we speak to people every day, people who are going through problems. And I hear people saying to me, listen, why is it that others can be happy, can get married, can have the right partner, and I can't? So sometimes other people's success highlight your failures, and the solution is not for you to envy someone else. The solution is for you to deal with your own problems and overcome them, right?
Yeah, and enjoy yourself. You know, there's so much there to you know, make happen. And like you say, build on. It's very interesting though, because I went out on the streets of London, you'll see later in the show, and you know, there was people that were envious of things that they already had in other people's eyes and in my eyes. And I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah. And I want to tell you something though. I want to say this to you, that if you say, look, James, the reason why I feel envious of other people is because my life is like the complete opposite of that person's life. They have something good going and I don't. They have health and I don't. They have a good relationship and I don't. They have a home of their own and I don't. And listen, this may be true. It may be true that they have all these things and you have none of these things. However, envying this person will not make you have any of these things any faster. What you need to do is you need, like Esther said earlier, and very right, you need to understand that if you envy these people, you are taking away the focus from yourself, and you need to deal with this problem. You need to learn to fight against this problem and overcome it. And if you don't do that, forgive me, but you're going to spend the whole of your life envying someone, wanting what they have. Well, you should fight for you to be successful so that others can use you as a point of reference. But right now, maybe you say, look, James, I am in this situation. I have all these things, these negative things happening to me, and I don't know how to solve them. I don't know how to deal with this problem. Help me, please. How can I deal with solving these problems that I have? How can I have the success that I want, and I don't have to look at other people's successes to make me feel better? How can I do that? That's where faith comes in. Sometimes you need to deal with the root of the problem. And there are times that the root of the problem is a spiritual one. And that's why right now we have a team of pastors that are ready to speak to you if you are going through this problem. And the number to call if you want to speak to someone right now is 020-7686-6300. And if you want even just to leave your name for prayer, if you say, look, I believe that I deserve a better life. There has to be something better for me. Then you can give us a call, speak to someone here. If you feel that you're alone, that you're facing all these problems by yourself, speak to someone now. There is someone there to help you right now. The number again is 020-7686-6300. After the break, we're going to come back and we're going to be speaking to Frank, who at one point of his life, he lost virtually everything. But you will see how when you start to choose to deal with your problem rather than looking at other people and using their successes to make you feel bad and envious of them, when you deal with the problem, you're going to see how that makes a tremendous change. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
For thousands of years, olive oil has been used for anointing as an act of faith. When you use the blessed anointing oil, it's like turning on a beacon of light and sending out an SOS signal for divine intervention to resolve issues that you otherwise couldn't solve on your own. It's a sign to God that you require special attention in a time of need. Join us on 3 special days where you'll not only receive your very own set of 3 anointing oils in a box set free of charge, but you will learn how you can use them for inner healing, protection, and direction. For more information, visit uckg.org or give us a call on 020 7686 6000.
From the moment I walked in, I felt different. It's about me, how I felt.
just the whole environment, the whole positivity in the place, I realised that my life could change from then on.
I wanted to learn more. I wanted to know more. There I learned that there were roots to the problems that I had, and I learned how to tackle the roots of those problems.
If I keep going and listening and putting into place what's been said, then my life will always be happy.
You just need to come and hear for yourself. It's a personal thing.
Welcome back. We didn't give you the email earlier because our emails were down, but they're back up again. If you also want to send us your name for prayer or any problem you're going through that you need advice, at the end of the program, towards the end, we're going to have a pastor, another pastor here, and he will be giving you advice on any problem that you email in. And actually, Esther can read those emails as they come through. So the email address is help@findinganswers.tv. help@findinganswers.tv. You can take your phone, email us now. We'll be reading as many as we can here through the program. But I want to introduce you to someone who, when things started to go wrong, he started to envy other people because of what he didn't have. How are you, Frank?
I'm all right.
You okay?
Yeah.
So before you tell us, when you started envying others, what was it that started to go wrong for you? Where did the problem start?
It started with my love life, and I was engaged for 3 times, and nothing.
With the same person?
No, with 3 different people, and nothing happened. Because of that, I become so envy towards people that are married, my friends that have got girlfriends or engaged.
So you were engaged 3 times,
Yes.
right? So you were serious about getting married. You wanted to be married.
Yes. So.
Because a lot of people say that men are all the same. They're only after one thing. They don't want to get married. You wanted to get married.
Yes.
And these engagements, how long did they take, these relationships?
The first one, I was engaged for about a year, and the second one was about 6 months, and the last one took nearly 14 to 15 months.
And why did those relationships end?
It's at that point in time, I can't put a finger to why. It's just one problem hits and everything dissolves. If we go through a problem, that is the end of it. Either she's doing something wrong, or I'm doing something wrong, something that she didn't like, or something I didn't like. You understand? And
so when you say maybe you did something wrong, what do you mean? Did you have some bad habits? Did you have things that would cause problems for the relationship?
oh yes,
So now we're getting to the bottom of it. What was the problem, Frank?
I was womanizing, and one is not enough for me.
Okay, so I'm confused. You were engaged and you wanted to be married, but you were a womanizer as well.
Yes.
So you weren't faithful to these women.
Yes.
That's why they didn't marry you. Now we know why. But at the same time, you craved the family. You wanted a family.
Yes. And because I wanted it so bad, I wanted to settle down. That's my dream. I was put it that way. My dream was to, at a certain time, I want to settle down.
If you wanted to settle down, if you wanted to be married, why would you betray those women?
That is the culture that was brought up in. It's not a bad thing having loads of girls and dating as much as you can, sleep around whoever that comes around you. That is the culture.
Okay.
And I grew up into that culture, and I was taking the culture.
So here's the question. if you wanted to be married and you were so down when these women broke up with you, why would you go looking for other women? Is it because you thought the grass was greener on the other side, there was something better to what you had?
Yes. Probably if I have a fiance and something that caught my eyes, I will definitely go after it, because I believe that time that is another taste of life, yeah, to stay with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
And when that relationship broke down, how would you be? Would you be happy that the engagement broke up, or how would you feel?
No, I wasn't happy that the relationship ended like that, because I invested a lot for us to be together. At the same time, I'm investing a lot for us to be together. I'm still having those bad behaviors in me that I know that will bring problem into the relationship.
Okay. Esther, here's an example why thinking that the grass is greener on the other side never works.
Yeah.
Right?
It sounds like, Frank, like you were your own worst enemy there for a while.
Yeah.
Because you kept shooting yourself in the foot every time you found a good woman. You know, you had that pattern and you'd go and look for another one. That is definitely, the grass is always greener.
So you're shooting yourself in the foot and everywhere else, right? because it wasn't helping you in anything. And the thing is, I was reading here in my notes that when those relationships broke down, you started to envy other couples that were married.
Yeah.
But you, like Esther said, you were your worst enemy. So when that happened, why didn't you decide, from now on, I'm going to be faithful?
I did make that decision, but it's just for a moment. And because that behavior, I had it in me. It's not something I can stop it, but I don't have the willpower to stop it at that moment. It's just, once I put a stop to it, probably a couple of months, and I will still find myself into the same hole.
Right. So you were in this cycle that you couldn't change. When those relationships broke down and you were envying these other couples who were happy, what sort of things did you turn to try to cope with that pain that you felt?
I became so addicted into alcohol, womanizing, clubbing, everything I can, just to have a good time. And that period, that was when I started using women as an object just to sleep around. I'm not serious on any relationship. It's just for an object.
So you had this problem with alcohol as well. How bad was that problem? Was it something you did just once in a while, or it turned into an addiction for you?
It turned into an addiction. I was drinking a bottle of brandy a day.
A bottle of brandy a day? Yeah. I have never drunk brandy. I don't know the effect it has, but from what I know, the little that I know, it's a very strong drink, right?
Yeah.
So would you be drunk all the time?
Yes. I will start in the morning before, let's say 10, 11, I'm out. And I'll sleep, wake up, continue from where I stop.
What about working? Could you hold a job?
No, I couldn't. I couldn't hold a job because of, and the worst part of it is my industry, you're not allowed to drink. I'm always drunk. And I got sacked from my company at the same time because of my addiction.
So it's like everything for you started to go downhill. Relationships, by the way, because of your own fault, because of the decisions that you made, the drinking, and you lost your job. What was the lowest point of your life, Frank? What was the worst part that you remember that you said, listen, I can't go any lower than this?
That was when I couldn't afford to pay my house rent. And my landlord was chasing me after my the rent. And that day I was at home, and he was knocking on my door for me to let him in, and I pretend that I'm not there, and he used the spare key to open the door, and that day, it's just like what I could see is that the ground open so that I could just go in.
I'm laughing not because I'm making fun of what happened, but I imagine how embarrassing that must have been, right?
Yeah.
Must have been, and you were not a teenager.
No.
You were a big man, right?
Yeah.
An adult. And this problem of being envious of, for example, you went for those women because you wanted more.
Yes.
And people who are envious, they're like this. They always want more. They want a better car. They want another woman. What if that woman is different? What if this is... The truth is, there's only so much you can have. And one thing is having a healthy appetite to success, wanting to do well because you want to feel fulfilled. And something completely different, which was the problem you had, Frank, is that you wanted to taste everything the world had to offer.
Yeah.
Right? And the grass was not greener.
No, it's not.
Right? It was... Tell me something. How would you feel when you would use those women, when you would be drinking the alcohol, when you lost your job? How did you feel more of a man?
At that point in time, yes, but once that minute or second is gone, I'm down on the hill.
Mm-hmm.
I'm no longer that person I thought that I was at the time that thing is happening, or I'm drunk, or I'm with those women.
Mm-hmm. So at the lowest point, you couldn't even afford to pay your rent, lost your job, the women that you wanted to be with, they didn't want to be with you,
No.
right? And your landlord found you hiding in the house when you pretended not to be there.
Yes.
Right? That was the lowest point. Now, is that when you found out about faith, when you came to church?
Yes.
Okay, we want to stop you there because you're going to tell us about that after the break. After the break, we're going to come back and you're going to say, listen, this is how my life turned around. Because like you were, Frank, we have many people who are still in that situation today, not necessarily sleeping around, but looking at others and wanting what they had. For example, you wanted what others had, but you didn't have the strength to do what they did to get there. Because the thing is, it's very easy for you to look at someone and say, oh, why can't I have that house? Why can't I have that career? But those people are there because they did something to be there. And maybe you want that, but do you really want to do the sacrifice that they did to get there? I've been married for 14 years, and it's very nice for people to say, wow, 14 years, how nice. But it's not easy to make a marriage work. You need to sacrifice. Maybe you want that, but do you want to sacrifice? Because the key to everything is the sacrifices you're willing to make for things to change. We're going to go into a break. When we come back, Frank is going to be telling us about the secret for his life to change. And I have something to say about how you can overcome that syndrome of wanting to know how the grass is on the other side. Another thing we forgot to mention is that a lot of people have this thing of jumping from one country to another, one career to another, thinking if I go to that country, it's going to be better. If I go to that career, it will be better. Because the US is better than the UK, and Scotland is better than Ireland, and here is better than there. And the thing is, you're running away from your problem, but you're never dealing with it. Maybe you are an expert at evading your problem. You're watching me now, perhaps, and you have a lot of bills, a lot of debts in those letters that you don't want to open, that you get in the mail, and you don't want to open them. You put it there on the counter because you don't want to deal with those problems. You run away from them. Maybe there is someone who wants to speak to you about a problem and you evade that problem. You run away from the problem. And you know what happens? Every time you run away from a problem, it only gets bigger. Problems are not like wine. You know, wine, you leave wine, the longer it stays there, the better it gets, the more expensive it gets. Your problems are not like that. Your problems, you ignore them, you run away from them. They'll always be there waiting for you. And perhaps you've been running away from your problems, from your responsibilities. You know that your marriage is not well, and you don't want to deal with that. You want to run away. You pretend everything is fine. You even put on a show. You walk out of your house. You hold the hand of your husband. You hold the hand of your wife. But inside the door, inside your house, perhaps you even live in separate, you even sleep in separate beds. And I'm not having a go at you. I'm just trying to open your eyes to show you that unless you face your problems and you deal with them, they're never going to go away. You can look at whoever you want and say, I want that. But unless you decide to fight against your problems, things are never going to change. Please, if you can put the telephone number there on the screen again. If you want to speak to someone, you say, look, I've been running away from my problems, but I want to speak to someone. I want someone to pray for me so I can get the strength to deal with them. The number is there, 020-7686-6300, or send us an email, help@findinganswers.tv. And I'd like the production team to leave the number, to leave the screen, to leave the number and email on the screen even after the break, so that people can have a chance to speak to us if they want. We're going to go into a break. We'll be right back.
How does a person gain control of themselves again? Let us help you.
The UCKG Helpline Call Centre is open 24 hours a day, every day of the week, all year round. If you need help due to a serious problem you may be going through, if you feel that you have nowhere to turn to and desperately need someone to lend a listening ear, then we can help you. It doesn't matter who you are or what you have done, your religion or race, your call will be answered by someone who genuinely cares about you and has your best interests at heart. We also arrange home visits for the housebound and hospital visits for anyone in great need of kindly human contact. Whether it is simply information you want or desperately need someone to talk to, we're here for you on 0207 686 6000.
The Bible contains the mind of God, the state of man, the way of salvation, the doom of sinners, and the happiness of believers. Its doctrines are holy, its precepts are binding, its stories are true, and its decisions are immutable. Read it to be wise, believe it to be safe, and practice it to be holy. It contains light to direct you, food to support you, and comfort to cheer you. It is the traveler's map, the pilgrim's staff, the pilot's compass, the soldier's sword, and the Christian's charter. Here, paradise is restored, heaven opened, and the gates of hell disclosed. Christ is its grand subject, our good the design, and the glory of God its end. It should fill the memory, rule the heart, and guide the feet. Read it slowly, frequently, and prayerfully. It is a mine of wealth, health to the soul, and a river of pleasure. It involves the highest responsibility, will reward the greatest labor, and will condemn all who trifle with its sacred contents. Pray it in, read it through, live it out, and pass it on.
Welcome back. Let's see what the people in the streets of London have to say about envy.
Oh, well, this is a very tricky one because
Hello, I'm Esther Shepherd at Finding Answers on the Streets. Now today I'm in Camden talking to people about jealousy. Some people look up to other people a lot and some people don't. Who's happier? Let's go and find out. Who do you envy?
Let me think. I don't know, probably like some supermodel with like probably really long, amazing legs. Like
you've got long, amazing legs.
No, but like, you know, there's always someone better. You know what I mean? And then like you look at them, like, I mean, I do modelling for them, and there's always someone who has a better figure than you. But at the same time, they're envying, like it might be someone who's like, you know, really railed in and you're going, oh, they look amazing, but they wish that they were you. So if you go and talk to them, you'll get past that straight away.
Yes, we've just been talking about that.
Psychopath jealous.
Psychopath jealous.
Really?
When it comes to men, other women, no, because I think all women are fabulous. But with other men, and when girls try and talk to your boyfriend, then that's when we become envious. With footballers sometimes, I get a bit like, oh, why they're not doing anything. But then at the end of the day, they're doing what they're good at and they get paid for it. So if you can get away with it, then fair enough. But I'm a teacher and I don't think I get paid enough.
No, wouldn't think I would. None that I can think of off the top of my head.
A lot of people are envious of people, especially people on television and stuff like that. What advice would you give them if they were like gone a bit mad about it?
We only see them in the public eye. We don't see their private lives, which are being invaded massively by the media. So I don't think it's as enjoyable as it seems.
I think it's good to look up to people, sort of, but not too much. So they should like look up to them, but not want to copy them, probably.
Right. Do you think, in terms of your life, do you think that the grass is always greener? Are you always looking for the next thing?
No, I believe that everybody is on their own path and everything happens for a reason. So I'm where I'm meant to be right now.
Depends which side you're looking from.
No, I don't think so. Maybe some really high people in high positions, they have too much and they don't know what to do with the money, but yeah, no, I'm not envy on that.
No, everyone generally, like, you know, if I go, oh, I wish I had those beautiful curls, they're dying for like, you know, dead straight hair, stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like, and you can all find a middle ground to relate to. So I think put yourself in their shoes and consider that, you know, everyone has something else that someone else wants, and treat someone how you'd like to be treated. And like, if you can sort of look upon someone, you know, that you envy and instead go, hey, I want to be as good as that, then you'll both end up better than before.
It's interesting that girl said, oh, I envy someone who has longer legs and so on. And she said, there's always someone who has something you don't have. And that's the truth. And that's why you can't be envious of people, because it doesn't work. It doesn't add anything to your life. Frank, how did you change your life?
I was invited to the faith by a friend of mine, on a meeting called Partners for Life.
So you were invited to the church for like a love life meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Because that was your problem, love life.
Yes, it is.
And how did that help you?
When I was invited, the thing that caught my attention was the message, and at the same time, is the pastor that was there at that time, because of the way he talks about his love life. That makes me think a lot that outside, I don't see people talking about their love life, how they are happy at home, and now I'm just moving from that direction to somewhere else, and someone is telling me how, you know, being open to talk about his love life in the public. And that is when I said to myself, I said, whatever he has, I want it.
So you were envious of him?
Yes.
But this time in a good way.
In a good way, yeah.
You wanted that happiness. You said, look, I want to learn. It's not like you wanted to take what he had. You wanted to learn how to have that, right?
Yes.
Fast forward some years. How is your life today, Frank? Through what you've learned in those meetings, what changed in you?
Right now, I'm married. We've been married for 6 years.
You're joking.
Yes,
You're serious?
Yes, Pastor.
You've been married for 6 years?
For 6 years.
So you didn't get engaged for a 4th time and broke it off?
No.
You're married, faithful to one woman. How is the life of a married man, like you always wanted, but you couldn't be faithful? How is it? Is it more than you expected?
It is more, and it is the best.
Better than going around with other women?
It is the best. And if I have a chance, I will marry her over and over again.
I'm sure you're saying that because she's watching now, and when you get home, she'll be very happy with you. But you truly mean that?
Yes, I did.
And not only in your love life, I mean, your love life changed. What else changed? Did you change as a man? Did you stop drinking? Do you have a career now?
Yes, I have a career, and I stopped drinking nearly 8 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And I've achieved that. I've got work, I've got business as well. We opened a business, and everything is going great.
And who do you envy?
I don't envy in a wrong way, but to achieve what they have.
Right. So it's like you admire.
Yes.
What some people have achieved, and you look to achieve something similar to that. That's what you mean?
Yes.
Okay. And you're happy today?
Yes, I am.
That's great. And we've actually had you and your wife on this show before. And it's great to see that faith can not only change a situation, but can change a person, because you've become a completely different man. So thank you very much for being on the show. And before we go to a break, and Pastor Douglas will be here with us to read the mail of the day, Esther, his story shows what we were saying before, that you like the girl said, there will always be someone with something you don't have, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you should envy them. You have to build your own life. Look at yourself and see where things are going wrong and fix it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love your story, Frank. Thank you for sharing with us. Your smile just went so big when you talked about your wife, and you'd marry her over and over. That was really nice. Yeah, envy can be a useful tool. Mm-hmm. Sure, you can look up to someone, you can admire what they have, like you did with the pastor. Mm-hmm. And that's healthy, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, for example, you were saying that you saw the pastor talking about his love life and how great it was. And men don't usually talk about their love lives, right? Men usually talk about women. I slept with this one, that one. So that was something different. And yes, you said, I want that. I want that for myself.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you very much for being on the program. Now, we're going to go into a very short break, short indeed. And when we come back, Pastor Douglas will be here with me. He'll be reading the mail of the day, giving advice to that person. And I want you to prepare also your glass with water. Let me tell you why. We were saying earlier that perhaps you envy what other people have, but you don't have the strength to fight and sacrifice like they did. When people watch certain programs, you look at Alan Sugar, who's this successful man, you say, well, I want to have the money he has. But perhaps you don't want to get the van and go around selling things in the markets like he started. Maybe you say, no, that's not for me. But you want what he has, but you have to start somewhere. So this water and the prayer we're going to make is going to be for you to have the strength, not to run away from your problems, but to face them head on and to overcome them. We'll be right back.
Pessimism, insecurity, afraid of taking risks, doubts. inability, lack of confidence, professional failures, complexes, lack of qualifications, the fear of losing your job. These and other thoughts can lead you to a miserable life. Every Monday, we hold a motivational seminar that can help you break through financially, especially at 7:30 p.m, but also at 7 a.m, 10 a.m, and 3 p.m. at all UCKG help centres. For more information, call 020 7686 6000 or visit our website uckg.org.
Welcome back. You can see here I already have my glass with water. Don't forget to get yours ready, because God will give you the strength that is necessary for you to overcome that problem that you've been running away from. How are you, Pastor Douglas?
I'm fine, James. How are you?
Good. Do you have the mail of the day there to read to us?
Yes, of course.
Please
I
go
do.
ahead.
Okay, the mail of the day. Several of my close friends announced they are pregnant. I have been trying for a baby for about 2 years now, and I hate to admit it, but I'm jealous. It's tough to hear them talk about their pregnancies. How can I deal with these feelings? It's an email from Claire. Well, Claire, first of all, we can view here from different angles and different views. Well, first of all, she needs to understand that jealousy is a very negative emotion. And it can be very dangerous too. The truth of the matter is that a lot of people, well, not many people like to be envied. But the truth of the matter is that the person who is the envious, he is the one that suffers the most. Because, I would say that envy is like a cancer. Once you have it inside, as long as that affects you, you know, instead of bringing you closer to your dream, it pushes you further and further away.
Absolutely.
And I also want to remind you, Claire, and not only you, but all the viewers that might be facing the same problem, that you are unique. Think about it. There are 7 billion people in the world, James. And who sounds like you?
Probably no one.
Not a lot. Nobody does.
Yeah.
Who looks like you? I mean, we are unique. We have abilities. We have physical features that nobody else does have. So I think that she should give a credit to it. And obviously, she should seek for help. I mean, 2 days ago, we were talking here before the program started that we had a couple here, right? That came here on Wednesday.
Not a couple, but we had a doctor who's a gynecologist, and his wife could not conceive. Same situation as this lady.
Claire, yes.
As Claire. But by the power of faith, right? Today they have 2 kids.
Exactly.
And look at the paradox. A gynecologist whose wife could not conceive. I mean, you couldn't write that even if you have a very vivid imagination. But by the power of faith, things changed.
Exactly, and this faith Claire also has. I'm sure that you have faith inside of you, and now what you need to do, you need to seek for help and stop focusing your energy on other people's life.
Yeah, and I just want to add something to what you were saying, Douglas, because you know, you were saying that you don't have children, you look at these people who have kids and you're jealous of them. You know, if you had kids, and I'm sure that if you use your faith, you know, in Jesus' name, something's going to happen. But if you had kids, you wouldn't want people to be jealous of you. You want them to be happy for you. You can have something I don't have, Douglas, and I can be happy for you. Absolutely. I can say, well, I'm really happy for you, Douglas, that you got this thing, you know. I really hope it gets even better. That's a good thing. And if that person is happy, be happy for them. Because like you said, envy only pushes you further away from your dream. I want to invite you now, you that perhaps you say, look, I've struggled to face my problems. I'm an expert at finding excuses not to deal with them. Right? You know, publicists who get paid to put a good spin even on negative things. Maybe you're like that. You look at your problems and you always find a way to put a positive spin on not dealing with them, but not anymore. Perhaps you say, look, James, from now on, I want to start not just facing my problems, but overcoming them. And that's what faith can do. So prepare your glass with water. Let's talk to God right now.
Prepare now for the moment of prayer. If you would like a prayer concerning your spiritual well-being, send your name and prayer request to prayer@findinganswers.tv.
Oh Lord God, we are here on a live show. It's nearly 12 midnight, and I'm pretty sure that there are many viewers now that are watching this show. They are suffering. They are going through moments of difficulties, a lot of stress, pain, people who had losses, people who do not know what to do. And the worst thing that can happen in one's life is when they don't know what to do. So we pray now, oh God, for these people, that your mighty hand may reach them where they are, in their homes, at work. Some of them perhaps cannot even sleep, can't even sleep due to so many problems, anxieties, and sufferings that they've been going through their day-to-day lives. But I pray for them now, that you may give them strength, that you may give them encouragement, that you may use this program as a light at the end of the tunnel to meet their needs.
Yes, my Lord. And if this person didn't find within her the strength to face their problems head on and deal with them, from the moment that they drink this water, let them find that strength. Let them not look at others and want necessarily to take what they have, but let them deal with the issues they have and be successful at overcoming them, like Frank, who one day said, I can't carry on in this path anymore. It's going to kill me. But when he decided, when he learned to use his faith, his life changed. Ah, my God, from this moment on, as the clock will soon strike midnight, let this person find in her a renewed strength. Just like we are going to have a brand new day, let this person have a brand new attitude into facing whatever challenges he has in front of her. I consecrate this water and I determine the change, the transformation in this person's life. For the honor and the glory of your holy name, you may now drink of this water, dear friend, there where you are. You know, this was our last program of this week. We are here Monday to Friday. But I want to tell you something. We in the church are not there Monday to Friday. How often are we there, Frank?
Monday to Sunday.
Every day. Monday to Sunday means every day, right? We are there every single day. We open our doors at 6:30 in the morning and we go until the last person leaves in the evening. And if you need help, you don't need to wait for Monday's program. You can come to church, speak to someone, and we're there to help you. If you want to speak to someone now, by the way, you can do that, and we'll be more than happy to follow up on you, to help you, like we did with Frank. And I believe that what God did for him, He can do for you as well. Okay, it's been a pleasure to be with you until Monday. At the same time, have a wonderful night. May God bless you.